Hey, what's going on, you guys? I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. This will be part 2 of our support and resistance discussion. So in the previous video, we talked about horizontal support and resistance. And we talked about how support and resistance have similar characteristics depending on where price is within the market. So if price is above a level, that level is considered as a level of support. If price breaches and break through, that level is considered as a level of resistance. Okay? So now let's look at the other form of support and resistance, which is known as diagonal support and resistance, or also known as trend lines. Now, one thing you need to understand when talking about diagonal support and resistance, we're dealing with two different markets. We're dealing with an uptrend, which is considered as bullish, or price is trending up, as you can see, and also a downtrend, which is considered as being bearish when price is trending down. Now, when looking at an uptrend, one of the things that you have to notice is it creates what are called higher highs and also higher lows. And so if you look at this, when the price is trending up, this is a high, this is a higher low because price is going up, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. And these particular qualities or identifications allow you to identify the trend in any given market. And it also depends on the time frame that you're on. Now, when we're looking at a downtrend, it creates what are called lower lows and also lower highs, because it reads as such: lower low, lower high, because this low is higher than this low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on and so forth. Now, one thing that we need to understand about dealing with trends is that there is a trend validation. You only need 2 touches in any given market to establish a trend. However, it must be 3 or more touches to validate a trend. And I'll explain that once we kind of dive into the market, and I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. Another way to look at diagonal support and resistance are called channels. And basically what this is a way to trap price in order to get better entries and kind of, look at point of interests to kind of look and see where price is actually going. So if you're looking at a bullish channel, you can see it's pretty much the same thing as an uptrend. However, we have a trend line on the top and bottom, pretty much trapping price within this particular channel. The same holds true as to a bearish channel as well. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into the live market. That way we can actually see some live examples. Okay, you guys, let's look at AUD USD, which is the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. And as you can see, initially the market was trending up. We had a reversal, which caused the market to actually trend down. So if we're looking at this, one of the things I want you guys to understand when marking up trend lines is we want to focus on the most outer peaks and valleys. So let me say that again. The outermost peaks and valleys is what we want to look at. So for example, if we're looking at this downtrend here, we want to look at and focus on the wicks. So if you notice here, this stands out. This is the outermost peak here. We have another here. We have another possibly here. So these outermost peaks and valleys will be the points in which we will actually draw our trend lines. So we want to take this wick and look at the outermost parts within the market to connect and actually form our trend lines. Now, as you can see, we have 3 points that has tapped our trend line, validating this trend line. Like we said, 3 or more points validate a trend line. However, you only need 2 points to start a trend line. What do I mean by that? Let's look at these particular outermost valleys in this uptrend. So if I take our trend line and I start it from there and I go here, as you can see, we only have 2 points on this particular trend line. However, the third point never actually touched the trend line, but rather when it got to this point, it actually broke through to actually continue on another direction. So that's what I mean when I say you only need 2 touches to establish a trend line, but to validate a respected trend line, you need 3 points to touch. Okay, so let's look at another part. Let's look at another uptrend here. Outermost valleys. We want to go ahead and connect. As you can see, we have 3 points here. We got 1. We have 2. And we have 3. So this is a valid trend. Now, the other form of diagonal support and resistance we talked about were channels. Channels is a way to trap price, like we said, to get a better look to see where price is actually going. So let's look at this. So if we look at the outermost peaks and valleys, in this instance, we can trap price in this form here, or we can look at trapping price something like this. Move this trend all the way down, and as you see, price is trapped in between this channel. Now, speaking of the notion of sell high and buy low, you can actually look at that within this channel. If price is here, you can sell. When it comes down close to the bottom of your channel, you can buy, sell, because it's following market structure, where we have a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on and so forth. Let's look at a bullish channel. Let's look at this one here. As you can see, we're looking at the outermost peaks. We can trap price there and possibly just move it like this here. So as you can see, price is trapped, creating higher highs, higher lows, and price is traveling within this channel. It breaks this channel and starts on a bearish move. Let's look at that. We can mark it up there. If we wanted to trap price into a channel, we can start here, possibly trap it like that, or we can trap it like that, whichever way you choose. There are many ways to actually mark up, different diagonal support and resistance or channels and things like that. It just depends on the market and depends on how price is actually flowing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and review. Okay, you guys, so what did we talk about? We talked about an uptrend, which is considered as bullish when price is trending up. We talked about a downtrend, which is bearish when price is trending down. And we also talked about the bullish and bearish channels. We also talked about trend validation. You only need 2 touches to establish a trend, but you must have 3 or more touches to validate a trend. So you guys, I hope this was informative for you. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.